Hey, I am Rebecca DeVore, and you might say, that name doesn't sound familiar, but I'm getting ready to change it, and there's more information about that. I was introduced to CSL a little over 28 years ago, and I came on and off. I was kind of one of those holiday goers, you know, got dressed up, came for holiday, and didn't necessarily come back. And then 9 years ago, I came back, and I wasn't quite sure why I was back. I sat in the back of church and listened to the talks and cried through just about all of them. A clear indication that I needed to be here. I knew I needed to be here. In one of those talks, I remember Kathy Ann asking to pick a word. Pick a word of what you want, just one word if you could pick one. And I was like, community. Just immediately came to my brain that I needed community and people in my life, because I'm sitting alone in the back of the church, right? I wasn't sure, you know, how, but that was the word that came to me. And I have found community through service, through volunteering, and through meeting so many wonderful people here. A little bit of my history. When I came to Seattle, I landed in a retail management position, and that was my career. It wasn't my original plan. I always was that full-time manager running a store. That was my career, and I loved it. And about 2 years ago, I was working for a company, the Container Store, and they were struggling, and it was not a happy place, and it wasn't meeting my needs. And so I decided that I would make a plan. And that plan was that I was going to quit that job, right? Never had been an adult without a job lined up behind. But I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to take 2 weeks. 2 weeks will be enough to set myself right? Yeah, right. And then I'm going to find a new full-time job, because I need to. My partner's opening a business. I have to have the full-time job, because that's my brain. And I happened to be telling that plan when Kathy Ann walked up to the group, and I'll paraphrase Kathy Ann, but she said, no, you don't need to make a plan. Stop making the plan. The plan isn't for you to make. God has a plan for you, and you need to embrace that and, you know, let it unfold and have faith. And so, of course, that made me nervous, because I plan everything. So I had to really think about that, but it stuck with me. And of course, she walked into several more conversations of me planning. But anyway, and the same thing happened, so the message was received. Thank you. And 2 years ago, when I took that plunge and quit the Container Store, I went into business with my partner. We opened a coffee shop. It's been great. It's been almost 2 years this holiday. And I was working kind of part-time, full-time-ish there. And I had this opportunity to also work with a friend who was a home organizer. And I thought, that'll be my fun time. You know, not that the coffee shop wasn't fun, but that I could be away and do my own thing. And I found myself, for the first time in my adult life, working part-time, 2 jobs, and having so much flexibility that it just blew me away. Because if you know anything about retail, you work 10 million hours. So I was able to really open myself up. And guess what? I don't have a full-time job now. I didn't go back to that full-time retail position. And that was part of the plan. Sorry, hold on, I'm losing my track. And then I started to really find myself and think of the possibilities of what I could do. All the while I was coming here and taking classes and doing fun things, I started to discover who I was again. And this year has been a huge one. So, don't get cherry high. This year I moved out on my own. I have my own apartment. I left the coffee business. I worked more in the home organizing business. And I said a new word with community for joy. It's like, I want joy. Whatever form it's in, I want joy. And so moving forward with that, it allowed me to say yes to so many things. And I had a friend say, you don't always have to say yes. And I'm like, but I like saying yes. I love doing whatever I can, which is probably why you've seen my head pop in and out here and there. And now I'm part of the choir. I volunteer whenever I can and whenever I have time. I'm doing my home organizing, and now I'm thinking, maybe I don't want to do it for someone else. Maybe I want to do it for myself. So I've been helping my friends here at CSL get their homes organized, which has been very exciting. See me if you'd like. On the outside of that, I've become a Disney adult. That's my little costume today, Disney adult. I've been twice this year. Who would ever known I would have said I've been to Disney twice. And I am just really, well, I stalled out there. Trips to Disneyland, and then I'm planning my first trip next year out of the country. I'm an adult and have never been out of the country besides maybe a little trip to Canada over the border. And so I'm doing all kinds of things and figuring out joy. So if you're looking for joy and community, this is the place. At least that's my opinion. I love it here. I love all the friends I've made and the new found family I've made. So thank you very much.